evening. I am Pittsburghdamus, and this is another episode of Pittsburghdamus Predicts. And someone online earlier said they could not see the book I was holding up. It is this book, The Art of Talk, by our King in the Kingdom of Nye, Art Bell. Read the book, buy the book, Art, write a new book, and of course The Quickening, also by Art Bell. And I tonight will discuss my new predictions, gleaned from my studying the ancient crystals that I hold in my hand. Yes, I am Pittsburghdamus. Here is my first prediction. International criminal and animal rights abuser Jasmunda will be forced out of Australia and flee to the United States after he was caught selling dolphin sickles to unsuspecting tourists on Bell's Beach in Australia. Mysteriously, he was recently acquitted of charges of smuggling koalas and emu-feathered boas to unsuspecting American tourists. There was a great controversy in Australia, and people were wondering how he could have possibly been acquitted since the charges were so self-evident. Let's see. Pittsburghdamus predicts George Norrie, as an act of contrition for his millions of hours of less than stellar radio hosting, will agree to let 500 select coast-to-coast listeners meet him in Dallas. Upon meeting him there, George Norrie allowed him to beat him senselessly with wiffle ball bats for not longer than 20 minutes time. However, during this exercise, the wiffle ball bat bearing coast-to-coast listeners will not hear the timer go off because of Tommy snoring in the background, and continue to beat him for the next 4 hours. George Norrie will survive, however. He will take a much-needed 4-week vacation. Premier Radio will hire a Shetland pony to fill in for him during these 4 weeks, and John B. Wells. Listeners will be puzzled because they will not be able to tell the difference between the pony and John B. Wells, but they will overwhelmingly prefer the pony. Pittsburghdamus predicts Richard C. Hoagland that will announce he is retiring from the paranormal science scene to pursue his real life and love in life, playing the pan flute. He will then join an Irish pan flute troupe called Sir Patrick Fitzpickles and the Blitter and Blarneys, and tour all over Europe and the United Kingdom. Somewhere in between Chernobyl and Helsinki, however, he will be bitten by a strange spider one night at the tour bus. Therefore, he will develop superhuman abilities not unlike Keanu Reeves exhibited in The Men in Black. Pittsburghdamus predicts the Mars rover will discover by accident, because one of the cameras will be left on when it is on the dark side of Mars, that there are Martians living on Mars. It will be found that they worship Art Bell and Richard C. Hoagland as gods, and that the Martians have been using the two rovers as go-karts during the night when they cannot be seen by NASA. Pittsburghdamus predicts Art Bell, with nothing for the next 2 years, will decide to breed blue-toed skinks as a new hobby. All will go well for the first few months until one fateful evening he will inadvertently superglue one of the skinks to his lip. After a few hours of suffering, he will eventually burn the skink off with an e-cigarette. Both Art and the skink will survive. However, Art will need to regrow his trademark mustache. Pittsburghdamus predicts Whitney Strieber will write a new book. My last book, The UFO Mystery, I finally solved again. It will not solve anything, nor will it be his last book. Pittsburghdamus predicts George Knapp will one day tire of being affiliated with George Norrie's show. One night he will snap on the air, call George Norrie an ignorant stink lizard who couldn't bite himself on the ass if he fell on his face, throw his headphones at the engineer, and leave in a huff. John B. Wells will fill out the rest of the show interviewing a random caller about the possibility of Miley Cyrus being the head of the Illuminati. Pittsburghdamus predicts Mike Barra will start a cooking show. Said something's good at cooking with Mike Barra. The food will be terrible. The show will be canceled after the first season. Pittsburghdamus predicts a surveillance video will surface showing Linda Moulton Howe at a diner eating a hamburger, vanilla shake, and a side of fries. What will not be ordinary, however, is the way she first drains the hamburger of all ketchup and mustard, leaving no discernible incisions. And that's all for the night. Until next time, I leave you with the immortal words, Free Art Bell. This is Pittsburghdamus, and I'll talk to you next time.